Hi guys, happy crafting. Welcome. This is my knitting and crochet podcast where I'm going to talk to you about all of the stuff that I've finished this week, things that I've worked on, and stuff that's made me rip my hair out in frustration. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome. This is just a place that I like to talk about my crafting with because I don't have very many crafty friends in real life, so it's nice sometimes to bounce ideas off of other people. I am from southeastern Michigan. I live here with my husband and 2 children. I am a paraplegic. I use a wheelchair full-time now. I love to knit and crochet. I especially love to knit and crochet garments. I love bright and happy colors. I've always been drawn to things like pink and purple and all sorts of those colors that make you happy, and or at least make me happy. I should say it like that. They make me happy. I'm just glad that you're here. Thank you so much for showing up. So if you watched last week, you'll remember that I was talking about how I needed to knit a couple of baby gifts or crochet a couple of baby gifts, and I did that. So I went through my stash and I started looking at some of the yarns that I had, some neutral yarns, things that would be acceptable to knit baby items in, right? Because when you're a new mom, you don't necessarily want to hand wash stuff. I mean, at least I know I didn't, and unless I knew the mother particularly well and knew that she was okay hand washing, I would definitely use something you could throw in the washer and dryer. So I came across this. This is a yarn from just as a side note, it's 8 in the morning here on Sunday, so if I seem a little bit scatterbrained, that's why. It's a little bit earlier than I usually podcast. So, okay, this is a yarn from Lion Brand. This is called Comfy Cotton Blend, and it is 392 yards and for 200 grams, so it's a light DK. And it is 50% cotton and 50%, is that going to show up? 50% cotton and 50% polyester. So I really like these colors. This is it. You're seeing, let's see. It's like a dark gray. We've got some yellows and tans. And the color is called Chai Latte, which I'm pretty sure sums it up quite well. So I had 3 of these in my stash, and I have this left so far. Well, and half of another, not half, like 75% of another skein, but I'll show you what I got out of the first 1 1/4 skeins. So this is what I did first. This is my standby knitting pattern for babies. This is the flax. This is actually the, So the flax is the flax is a pattern by Tin Can Knits, and they have an app. So if you go to the App Store or Google Play Store, you can download the Tin Can Knits app. And it's really neat because they have all of their free patterns on it. So you can put in your specifications, what type of yarn weight you're using. You can also put in the size, and it will get rid of all of the extra numbers. So it shows you only the pattern that you care about. It is super useful. So this would be considered somewhere in between the flax and the flax sock. I've been calling it the flax light forever, but the last time I went to the pattern, it's flax sock now. So my apologies. I didn't realize that. This is, like I said, the flax light, and I knit not, see what I mean? It's 8 in the morning. This is somewhere in between the flax sock and the flax. Yes, that's what I mean. I knit this in a size 6 to 12 months, and whenever I was picking the options for it, I skipped the short rows. I cast on immediately at the ribbing, and with the flax you have an option of either casting on at the ribbing and working the ribbing and then starting right into the sweater, or you can start right into the sweater and ignore the ribbing and pick that up later. So I was reading the pattern and they said that for sizes 6 and under, they recommend just starting with the ribbing. And that's what I did. That's what I was going to do anyway, even without the pattern recommendation, because I like the lack of structure, I guess you could say, that it gives for the littler kids, because especially with babies and especially with my kids, I don't know if, sorry guys, the battery died. And of course it did, because I was all like this morning, okay, we're going to film the podcast and I'm going to have to make barely any edits. It was going to be like a super goal, and here we are. Anyways, like I was saying, I like the structure that the casting it on at the ribbing gives you for the little kids, because my son and daughter both had bigger heads, and this definitely made it easier to get over their heads and not have to worry about something tight going over their heads or sitting at their neck and things like that. So I did like the way that this yarn knit up, and I like the patterns that it made, and it was super quick because it was 6 to 12 months. So I didn't stop there because of course I didn't. I made a barley to go with it. Now, this is also a pattern by Tin Can Knits, and as you can see, it has the same the same garter stitch pattern as the flax, so I think that it goes quite well with it. And I made this in about like 2 hours, I think. It was quite a fast pattern, and then I started thinking, well, what would be really cute, right? So I made these ears, because of course I did. I just haven't sewn them on yet. I was working on blocking both of them before I sewed on the ears. I did not want to put the ears on before the hat was blocked, because I wanted to make sure that they sat right. So these are like little tiny bear ears that are going to go on this hat. As soon as I figure out the best placement for them, I have a styrofoam head, and I'll probably put the hat on the head and then pin the ears to where I think they'll look the best, and then take it off and sew them. But I love knitting baby items because they're super fast. So this yarn, it knits up, and it's so soft. Both the hat and the sweater have been blocked, and it's incredible how soft this yarn is. And I'm super happy because it's going to be machine washable and dryable. Now, I'm going to be skipping from works in progress to finished items just all over the place this morning. So I'm sorry, but I'm doing it for a reason. I want to show all the baby stuff like in one section. So that's why I'm doing this. The next item that I started working on, well, actually, let me tell you the story. So I started this first. I went and I started a crochet star blanket first. And I'm like, okay, what do I want to do here? So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I'm not just going to give the star blanket. I have 3 of these yarns, right? And that's going to be quite a bit of yarn. So I got this far on the star blanket, and I love these star blankets. I love how useful they are. My kids still use them. They're always pulling them out and cuddling with them, even now at 9 and 13. Although, to be honest, my 13-year-old's not really into them anymore, but my daughter more than makes up for it. So I knit here up to here, which is about the part where you establish the repeat to go around and around, and you don't have to look at the pattern anymore. And I then put that aside, and then I knit the hat, and then I knit the sweater. So what I have left in yarn is right here, which I am thinking is pretty much perfect to make a good sized star blanket. So this is obviously a work in progress. It's not blocked or anything, but I'm excited to work on this for a couple of weeks, and then I'll have a pretty good baby gift, or at least I think so. The mother-to-be sent me a registry list, and it always makes me super happy whenever people send me registry lists that allow me to buy the gift, have it wrapped, and then sent to them, because it makes it so much easier. Their baby shower is going to be the week that we're on vacation, so I'm not going to be able to go. But anyways, I will, as soon as I get the baby gifts done, I will put them in a box and then ship them, so that way that they'll have them for the baby shower, and that should be it. Okay, now I am going to talk about what I am wearing, because that also has to do with my other finished object for this week. So this is the Castaways, and I love how this came out. I was so close to finishing it last week. I believe I just had the bind off left. So let me lift it up here. I've got a tank top underneath, so it'll make it easy to see. You can see the seashells, and this has been blacked and everything, but do you see how the bind off is really pretty? It's got like this loop here, and then it's just such a nice edging. I love the way that it came out. But the bind off did take like an hour and a half, so I guess not too bad, but I think it was worth it. I definitely love how this top came out. Whenever I'm sizing garments for myself, I tend to go for oversized, and I think I do that on purpose. I like to be comfortable, and for me, when I'm wearing things that are oversized, I'm the most comfortable. So whenever I made this, I believe I will put the size down below that I chose to knit, but I'm thinking that it was somewhere, no, I'm not even going to guess. I'll put the size down below. The pattern designer is Jennifer Shields Tolan, and I believe, the sample on Ravelry is knit with the exact yarn that I used, which is Emma's yarn. And I knit with the January 24 colorway, and I really love how it came out. I love the blue and green. I love this shade of blue, especially because it's nice and bright. And this was a super simple pattern, very easy to follow. Let's see what else I can think. There's not much ribbing to be had around the neck, but I think it works well for this yarn. Not around, it's the same around the arms as well. And I think that it, like I said, it works well for this yarn. I've definitely found a good pattern to use for summer yarn, so I'm excited about that. The yarn that I used, like I had said, Emma's yarn, I believe it was 80/20 merino silk. And if I'm wrong, I'll put it down below, but that was the base. And you can feel the silk, and this wouldn't bother many people. It's not rough, it's not, I'm trying to think of how to explain it. So merino's soft, but this combination is softer than your average sock yarn. So it's not going to bother many people if there are certain types of allergies and stuff like that. I was very happy how it knit up and very thankful that I had found it on our last vacation. At least I think our last vacation. Either our last one or the one before that. I can't remember. Sometimes because when I say vacation, our vacation is usually just like a long weekend. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of which one is which. Anyways, so besides the baby gifts, I've been working on two separate sweaters, and I'm trying to think of what one I should show you first. I'm going to show you the one that you haven't seen first because it's going to be hardest to show you. So you're going to have to do a lot of imagining because it's on a very tiny cord here. So if you'll remember, you've seen this yarn before. This is Black Fire Opal by Blackbird Sycamore Yarns, and you can see right there, it's the super sock base. And it is 437 yards and superwash merino and recycled nylon. And I love this base, it's one of my favorites. So here we go. I worked so hard on this in the last 24 hours because I was super determined to get to split for sleeves. Now what I am working on is the flax sock. And you're not going to be able to see it because I am in the middle of short rows. But this is the back and this is the part where you're doing the short rows. So unlike the baby flax, you can see that I cast on after I skipped the ribbing and just went straight for the sweater for cast on. So I believe in the flax directions, this is option 2. And this allows you to come back after you work the sweater and pick up for the neckline, and it makes it a more stable garment, especially if you have more weight in your garment. So this is knitting up super great. I love it. It reminds me of, I don't know, all the things that I love. I was telling my husband, like, it reminds me kind of Rainbow Bright as well, but I don't know. I'm gonna love this sweater. I might never take it off. And it makes me even happier that I am knitting this in June, which is Pride Month here in the United States. So I am happy to show my support for the LGBTQ plus community. And I don't know, there's just something about this colorway that makes me super happy. It reminds me of Rainbow Bright, like I said. So, but yeah, I am at the short rows, and I did not knit the short rows for the baby garment, but what they do is you've got the back of the sweater and you put a marker right in the middle, and then you're just working back and forth on the back of the sweater to make it about 16 rows-ish longer than the front, which I think will turn out well. I have never made myself a flax. I have made countless flax of all different types for my kids, for other kids, for babies, but I've never made myself a flax. So I'm super excited about this, and I'm even more excited that it's in sock weight yarn, because that is my favorite type of garment to wear. I really do like the light weight yarn. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So hopefully the next time that you see this, it will be a little bit easier to see. One thing I did do, and I think I mentioned that I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. I did put the garter stitch panels down the arms. I apologize that it's hard to see. Like I said, I've got this teeny tiny cord, and I did that on purpose because, like I said yesterday, I was really trying to get some knitting done to split for sleeves. So whenever I am trying to knit and get things done, I will use a much smaller cord than you would normally see, because it knits faster that way for me. You don't have to kind of scoot your knitting along a whole bunch. Okay, that is, like I said, from Blackbird Sycamore yarn, and it's the color Blackfire Opal. I can't wait to get that one done. Now, the last item that I have to show you, and I'm going to show you the pattern for it first, and you're going to have to ignore the cat drawing in the middle of the picture, because that would be my 9-year-old. But we have the Kylie pullover, and it is by Irene Lynn. This is such a pretty pattern. Now, I am knitting this in, I have the yarn band right here, Euro Yarn and Glimmer. And it is the color Toasty. It's 90% superwash merino and 10% stellina. So this is a worsted weight yarn, and I don't want to say that I'm not a big fan of worsted weight yarn, because I am, but it is definitely more of a seasonal, it's more of a seasonal weight garment than, for instance, the flax was that I showed you. So this is where I am on this garment, and I've got yarn coming out everywhere. Let me see how this is going to lay. Okay. I can't wait to get this done. I got this yarn from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and it came in a pack of 10, I believe. So I have 10 skeins of this. So it was my idea that I was going to knit either one of two pullovers. Either the Kylie pullover or the Saji pullover. I believe that was what it was. And then at the end, I decided that I should have enough to do both. Was it 10 or 20? No, I think 20 would be too much. Either way, this is what we have right now. Concentrate on the here and now. I love the way that these cables are turning out, and this pattern is both easy and makes me concentrate. So I appreciate that. Now, let me see if I can show you this really. Yeah, I can show you kind of. Now, if you take a look, you can see the sleeves on this, and they kind of flare out, which makes me happy. There are different options for the sleeves, and I'm definitely going to be looking towards the ones that flare out because I like that. I thought it was really pretty. But, I don't think I've ever made, I don't think I've made much in this particular color of pink. This is more of my daughter's color. Well, not even. This is more of like a warm color pink. I really do like the bright, but I think that this will be very nice as a winter garment, a winter fall garment. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So on this, I'm like I'm 2 rows into sleeve. Not sleeve. Yeah, sleeve. I'm 2 rows into joining underneath the sleeves. But now that I've done the front, the back, so I'll talk about how this is constructed. Otherwise, you're going to have no clue what I'm talking about. So you work the back panel, and then you pick up for the right front, you knit a little bit, and then you pick up for the left front and you knit a little bit, and then you join them, and then you knit like that front piece all together. And then after you get to under the arms, you join them all together. And I'm really liking working with this yarn. I think that it was a great buy for what I believe I got originally. However many skeins of yarn there was in it, it was like $50 for all of them. So I definitely a good deal for this. But it's nice and soft, and just in case you can't see, there's glitter. There's glitter, lots of glitter. It's the stellina in it. Not necessarily glitter, but it does look glittery, doesn't it? I've been enjoying working on this after work. It's one of those things that it's one of those projects that I need to concentrate on. So I've been working on it later at night whenever the kids go to sleep, and I've been working on the flax. I believe I worked on it last Sunday, and then I worked on it on Saturday. So, but that's where I am in my knitting right now. Oh, it's so squishy. I love it. That is all for this week. It seems like a lot less. It seems like a lot less and too much all at the same time. But I definitely had a great deal of fun going kind of back and forth from different projects, especially with the baby knits, because they're so fast and they're so, what's the word? They're so fast and they're so, I don't know. Nope, it's not going to come to me. They're very gratifying. Does that make sense? You sit down for a couple of hours and you have a hat. Or it's much different from working on like a muscle burrow, which takes me it takes me quite a bit depending on if I'm concentrating on it or not. So I hope that you guys have had a great week. If you are here to listen for 5 minutes about my life, awesome. If not, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. If you could give this video a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. YouTube, I've been looking at like video analytics and stuff, and YouTube doesn't seem to know like that the video, the podcast that I'm doing has to do with knitting, it will show it for like the wildest, it will show it as suggestions for like the wildest videos, like TikTok reactions. I've never like watched a TikTok before in my life, or one, and I was laughing with my husband about this, was it was a YouTube instruction video on how to fix a particular type of washing machine, except it was in a different language, like Spanish. And I'm like, that's an interesting choice, YouTube. But anyways, if you could hit the like or subscribe button, I would very much appreciate it. I'm going to spend like 5 minutes talking about life stuff, but not very much because not a lot has been going on lately. My kids are getting like super excited because this upcoming week is the last week of school for them. So obviously they're more than ready to be done. They are in the 7th grade and the 3rd grade. So I mean, you know how it is when you're a kid. Summer vacation is like awesome. When I was a kid, I would spend hours outside for summer vacation. We would do things like we would have huge hide and go seek games for like everybody on the block. It was just a thing. So it was definitely something as I was growing up, like before I had cancer, so like 10 and on, well, no, because I had my surgery when I was 10. So like below 10, I guess, is when summer vacation was awesome for me. After my cancer diagnosis, I was more of like a homebody. So I would play video games and stuff, which is a different type of fun, but still a lot of fun. Anyways, they are more than ready to be done with school. So there's that. We're also like counting down the days until we go on vacation, which will be in a couple of weeks. You won't even notice that I'm gone because we're only going for like a Monday through Friday type of deal. So it will be our first vacation. Well, no, yes. It will be our longest car ride with our kids. So wish us luck. I'm going to be picking out an audiobook for like us to listen to together as a family. So if you have any suggestions, put them down below. That would be awesome. I'm not sure. I have 2 pretty good ideas, but I'm going to let my kids pick in the end because, you know, I read all the time, and my son reads he's spent this whole year reading a whole bunch, and my daughter reads. She's been getting a little bit more into reading now that she's discovered graphic novels, but when we're in a car, it's most important that they like the book that's on the speakers because I'm playing it for them. I can listen to a book with my headphones on, so it's something for their benefit so they're not bored out of their mind. I think the car ride is going to be 4 hours, so fingers crossed for us, right? What else happened this week? Not much. Yesterday was a beautiful day, and today it looks very sad outside, so it is what it is. I don't know, we're just waiting for our vacation. For the books that I've read this week, I have been reading a bunch of popular series, and I don't know what set me off. So I read the second Hunger Games book, and Libby has me on the wait list for the 3rd one. I read the 2nd book from the Divergent series, and then I saw that Ready Player 2 was available now to read. So I immediately grabbed that up and I am partially through it. I really did like the original Ready Player One, and so far I'm liking Ready Player Two. So, I mean, it's just a good book for me to read whenever I need to take my mind off of other things. I am currently watching the One Piece anime with my husband, and that's going to be a huge feat because there are tons of episodes. So I don't even know why I mention it anymore. It's going to be the same thing for a very long time. I think that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Health-wise, I have a doctor's appointment, I think on June 11th. And we'll see what's going to happen with my back. They're probably going to have to do another surgery. It is what it is. I've kind of been like mentally ignoring it because there's nothing I can do about it. So I've just been trying not to think about it. It is what it is. I hope that you guys, wherever you are having an awesome week. I hope that you have beautiful weather, whatever kind of weather you prefer. And I'm glad that you stopped by. And I hope that I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.